Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the CoCo McMillian Show. You may have seen her in Morocco, New York City, Los Angeles, California, Detroit, Philadelphia, Chicago, Las Vegas, Nevada. One of the background singers for Mickey Howard and the late, great Gerald Levert. Ladies and gentlemen, your host, the beautiful, the wonderful, the spectacular, Miss CoCo McMillian.
But this guy, Frank Jordan, amazing. And look, guy, I need you to be watching because it took a long time for me to get him on the show. So this is very important, okay? So Frank Jordan, very good guy, very amazing guy. He has been doing a lot of work here in the community, doing some amazing things. And it's so good to see our brothers doing that. He is an award-winning Black history historian, 7-time published author of Black history. He received the Nat Turner Estate Book Award in 2018, which he's going to talk about a little later, especially what the CDC and the FDA failed to tell us. You know, he also interviewed with CBS, My Raleigh, during the month of February in 2021. He has written for the television stations, networks, for PBS. He received 18 literary and writers awards. I mean, he has done some incredible things. He was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. He relocated here to Raleigh, North Carolina. He's taught at over 35 universities, colleges, libraries, bookstores, a wide range of public speaking. His books that he has expands an unmentioned and unmerited history of Blacks and Latinos that somehow has forgotten or untaught in the classroom. His research covers ancient paintings, histories, land ownerships before Columbus. It includes toxic food ingredients, unknown Black and Latino scientists, engineers, craftsmen, mathematicians, hundreds of unmentioned interventions by our African American people. I'm telling you, this is going to be some great information that you need to know. He has several books that's out. He does his ghostwriting for PBS. 2012, he became a publisher and an author. He just keep doing it over and over again. He has his independent, sold over like in 42 independent bookstores. That's amazing. You can purchase his books on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, all of that good stuff. I want to introduce to you Frank Jordan, but listen, before I bring him on, and you can go ahead and continue to put in your chat where you're watching from, but before I bring him on, I want to show you this clip. Check this out.
Beethoven, these are all Black people, North American Indians. The Hebrews are also Black people as well. And this is the education that they're not going to teach you, okay, in your schools. In my books, I cover a span from our ancient history all the way up into the American history, which they're not going to teach you in the educational systems of America. These are not your teacher's history books.
Author and historian Frank Zaaqan Jordan book collection is now available on Amazon.
Wow. Yes, without further ado, Mr. Frank Jordan.
Hey, all praise to the Most High, first and foremost. And thank you so much, Miss McMillian, for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. I was like, am I going to be able to get him on the show? And I'm so glad we went through that to make it work. So thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to, come on the show and talk about this. Listen, I want you to teach me tonight because you have done some extraordinary work. You've been on several podcasts. As I heard earlier that you was on with Maxine and you was on with CBS, but I want you to take us back to the beginning when you was in Brooklyn, New York, and tell us all about Frank. How did you end up here in North Carolina? Where did you go to school? What were you doing in Brooklyn? All that good stuff.
I was born and raised in Brooklyn all my life. In 1980, the school I went to, actually, I talk about the public schools and the educational systems a lot, especially going back in the 70s, living in Brooklyn. One of the things I do want to point out is that, I like, anyone over the age of, I would probably say maybe 45, when you're taught, and shown certain things in school, and, Hollywood plays a big part also in the whitewashing, so to speak, of our, of our education and, our mindset as well too.
Right.
If you're shown, Little House on the Prairie and the Brady Bunch and Bewitched all your life, you start to, it subconsciously gets in your head, certain ways how to act, how to be, how to dress, and even to some degree, we may say, even to conduct your household as well too.
That's right. That's right.
And also at the same time too, one of the biggest, I would say, things that ever actually, happened to me was in 1989. I was actually downtown Brooklyn on Fulton Street in 1989.
Fulton Street, wow.
Fulton Street, right in front of I forgot the shoe store that was there, right in front of Fulton. It was a shoe store that was there, but it was across the street from A&S.
Okay.
Right, and ran into these magnificent brothers that I'm still affiliated with today. Was my Hebrew brothers. So they showed me a different trajectory on life. They showed me a different trajectory on how, biblically, who we are, biblically, that the Bible really is it's proven to be a black man's book. So once that was instilled in my mind, in my brain, to today, still go out and teach, still go out, pounding the pavement, letting people know who they are. And, it's been a 35-year journey, for me.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. 35 years.
35 years. 35 years.
Wow, Cass. What's up, Cass? We got some Brooklyn, we got some New Yorkers in the house that's chatting in. Cass is on with us. Blair, thank you so much for being on. We're going to show your video at the end of the show, so make sure you hang out. Evangelist Scanyers, New Jersey in the house. So listen, we got them coming out. Frank. So you're in Brooklyn, you're in New York, you went to school there. What made you want to really, continue on, in history and, to write the books, and even moving down here to Raleigh, North Carolina? What made you want to do that?
Well, New York, New York is not the most quietest place in the world. And, your people that's probably watching, they'll probably tell you, New York is a very busy place.
Yes.
And if you're at a certain point in your life where you just want, the solitude and you want the peace of mind, pretty much the South is still the way to go. If you want to, pretty much just get away from it all, and you just want to keep your mind and you want to think a little bit more. But Brooklyn is a really great place, and there's a lot of history to Brooklyn that a lot of our people actually, fail to kind of overlook a little bit. I'm picking one out of the air, Bedford-Stuyvesant. Bedford-Stuyvesant, you have a lot of blacks that live. It's predominantly, a so-called African-American community. But Peter Stuyvesant actually, who was part named after Peter Stuyvesant, actually had he was actually part of, in the 1700s, part of the slave trade actually. And Peter Stuyvesant actually had over, I would probably say, I think last time I checked was probably 76 to maybe 100 slaves. So a lot of times this is history that they're not going to teach you in school. And a lot of times, blindly, we live in communities and we look at certain streets, in Brooklyn, like Bleecker Street, named after Anthony Bleecker. I know a lot of New Yorkers heard of Bleecker Street. Anthony Bleecker, he was responsible for having over 75 slaves. Chambers Street, John Chambers, in 1741, he had over 25 slaves. So New York City is, and what they do, they actually reward themselves with naming streets, bridges, schools, after slave masters. And this is something that we failed to actually. Lenox Avenue in Harlem was named after Lenox. Here's another one. Lenox Avenue in Harlem was named after Robert Lenox. Robert Lenox had 50 slaves as well, too. So a lot of times people would actually, here's another one, Delancey Street. It was I think his name was John Delaney, John D.E. Laney, but we put it together and they just named it Delancey Street. Now I know me, I just like everybody else in New York, we used to shop on Delancey Street, Orchard Street, off of Orchard Street, for the discounts but we never really go back and research. John Delaney had over 50 slaves. So these people rewarded themselves, right? These people rewarded themselves not only giving themselves names, to the place, to the streets and the avenues and the bridges and the schools, but it's just a downright insult. It is downright insult.
That's why I said, teach me. I didn't even know that, Frank. That's really good to know, because I think, a lot of people, when they hear about New York, New York is the city, it's the Big Apple, it's the, the Statue of Liberty, the, all the shopping, the food, and they're not really thinking about, looking beyond that as far as the history of where they're going, where they're spending their money, what they support. And so this is really good information to know. And so, you knowing all of that, you putting all of that in books, you moving to Raleigh, what made you, well, I know besides the noise, I know New York is busy, but what else made you come here?
Just the solitude, and you actually, it's certain demographics, of certain areas are a little bit more high in crime. They're a little bit, you don't want your kids exposed to so much too soon. Yes. So at the time that I did move here, my kids, they were still, in school. And, New York is just a little, it's sometimes it can make kids a little bit uncomfortable. And a lot of times, you may say, people may say, okay, well, there's crime everywhere. You're absolutely right about that. It is crime everywhere, but crime isn't on a larger scale as it is to major cities. Like, you can't compare the crime rate to, Cary, North Carolina to Compton, California. It's terrible. You can't do that. So why not want to put your kids or yourself and your family in a situation, where, their lifestyle and their, I may dare to say, their life itself is just a little bit less compromised and a little bit less, pretty much reluctant to you to get in trouble.
That's right. Right. So you putting all this stuff in your books. I mean, to talk to us about, because one of the things I really want to kind of talk about is, get into is about some of the information that I learned about you, about, some of this unclaimed and unheard information that we don't know about the, the PBC and every, that they was giving us. I think it was over, let me just check here. That they not even teaching us. This is one of the things about the land ownership before Columbus. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Right. Actually, before the Columbus came over here in the 1800s. He came in here, I'll say a little bit before that. But let me say this, right? Before Columbus came here, of course, you had the indigenous, North American Indians. They were over here. They didn't have any borders, they didn't have any borders. They had clean cattle. They had lots of water buffaloes. They had, irrigation system. They didn't need Columbus to actually come over here and, spread smallpox and give them all kind of diseases. But I will say this, over a period of time, Columbus actually came over to the Americas 4 times, and he was actually also part of the slave trade. I got to go back. Columbus came over here to the Americas in the late 1400s. He died in 1506. So during the slave trade over in the transatlantic, Columbus actually was part of that. And speaking of Raleigh, let me hit you on the head with this right here.
Come on with it.
One of Columbus's main captains, his name was Sir Walter Raleigh. Does that ring a bell to you?
No. Oh, okay. Calm down.
Sir Walter Raleigh
Are you
had more
serious?
slaves. Sir Walter Raleigh murdered and killed and had more slaves in the Richmond, Virginia area. And he was one of Columbus's main henchmen. You know, him and Columbus, they was actually together, but he doesn't really get mentioned as much. But if you go back and you do the history and when you research on Sir Walter Raleigh enslaved a lot, probably hundreds, of North American Indians, but he never gets mentioned. The city of Raleigh, North Carolina, the capital is named after Sir Walter Raleigh to this day.
Wow. Yeah, you have some people in the chat that's saying, yes, he did.
Right.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Right. And they have big statues. Again, it's an insult. Yeah. They have big statues of Sir Walter Raleigh, like he's some kind of, superhero. And let me, speaking of land in New York, and I'm going to just try to appeal to the people, your fan base here. Washington Square Park in the village of New York, that was a slave selling place. A lot of people don't know that. Back in the 1700s, they used to actually auction off slaves in Washington Square Park. Now it's a place where people come, they meet. You got musicians there, you got people telling jokes, you got all kind of people there. But back in the 17th century, that was a slave market for slaves. Washington Square Park, Wall Street. I think back in 1989, 1990, they found over 22,000 slaves with still the shackles. Okay, they was digging and they was doing some construction right down on Wall Street, and they found over 22,000 slaves that were buried up under a church. Wall Street, the stock market, stock for black people. Who's they trading? They didn't have any physical stocks. Okay, as far as like electronics, and they didn't have that back then. So that's the reason why it's called the stock market. Okay, because we were the stock that they were trading. And that's where the Wall Street actually started from. Okay, and it was actually born from slavery.
Wow. This is good right here, Frank. This is and you have this information in some of your books, or
Absolutely. I put everything in my books, as far as like the information that's needed. Let's just say like June, let's bring it up to date. Everybody's talking about Juneteenth. Right. The Emancipation was actually written 1863, and it was ratified in 1865.
Okay.
You still had a lot of states, Miss McMillian, like Delaware, Tennessee, and I think Maryland was another state that didn't want to sign on, to the emancipation because it still had, believed in slavery. All the states, from the Mason-Dixon line, DC, all the way down, it took them a while. But let me hit you in the head with this right here. After the emancipation was signed in 1865, you had people that were actually still slaves. They called it slavery after slavery. One of the main places I'm gonna make mention is down in Natchez, Mississippi, where they call this place the Devil's Punch Bowl, where you had the Confederate soldiers down in Natchez, Mississippi, that rounded up over 22,000 women, kids, and men, and then put them back into slavery, into worse slave camps. And to date, the United States actually has held more slave camps than Germany during the time of Hitler. But this is something that they won't tell you. This is actually something that they won't tell you. Germany, let me tell you something. Germany had slave camps, but not nearly as much as the United States. And Natchez, Mississippi, I visited that place when I wrote this book right here called Oh Say Can You See?
Yes.
It's called The Unmentioned History of Terrorism on Blacks in America. And that was a terroristic act, because after they got done with the women and kids, and they threw them over a cliff and murdered them. And to this day, that cliff is still there. It's called the Devil's Punch Bowl down in Mississippi, if you ever get a chance to visit that place. And they were slaves after the emancipation was signed, over a period of 7 years, maybe 10 years, they were still slaves. And some of the slaves wrote, they said, we rather would have been back on the plantation okay, with Massa. They said because the Confederate soldiers were horrible to them.
Oh my God. This is blowing my mind. And we got to, so Mara said, bring it out, Elder. But there's a question in the chat that's saying, what do you think about Fort Bragg changing their names? I think they changed it to Fort Liberty.
Right.
What's your feelings about that?
Hey, listen, you listen. You would listen. The entire United States structure would have to. The entire United States structure would have to be changed because, listen, George Washington, as we know, George Washington had over 300 slaves, as we know. How many George Washington bridges? How many George Washington high schools? How many Washington colleges? Would have to be eradicated. Would have to be eradicated from existence. If we went that route. And this is things that people just don't understand, and they really don't, really consider. Like they had UNC in Chapel Hill, what it was like about 4 or 5 years ago, CoCo. They had the guy Sam Hill. That was, he was Confederate. He was Confederate,
yes.
And everybody made a big deal. Oh, Sam Hill, he got to go. Okay, that was okay, but you would literally have to go to every
city.
Right. Museum. You would have to go to every housing project in Brooklyn because look at Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson had over 600 slaves. His grandkids are still living to today. Okay. The women the slave women that he used to have intercourse with, he produced black grandkids from those black babies from those women. So if it's a case where people are saying, okay, well, again, you got high schools in New York, Jefferson High School,
right,
Brownsville, Brooklyn. There you go, right off of New Lots Avenue or Rockaway, right. Jefferson High School is right there, and you'll go there and you'll wear the shirt, you'll wear the hey, Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson had your grandfathers and your grandmothers in slavery. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin too.
Wow. And Frank, is this some of the information? Because this is so good. This is so good that you're giving us this information, because I believe in teaching, because a lot of people is just walking with no kind of wisdom, no kind of, not knowing knowledge about our history. So is this some of the information, some of the knowledge that you're teaching? I see that you taught over 35 universities, colleges, a library, is this some of the information that you're teaching some of our young youth today?
Absolutely. Hey, listen, that's a good point. That's a good point, Miss McMillian. Absolutely. Because the best way to hide the truth is to lie, is to lie to people. So, of course, again, if our kids, the only role models that they see, are sports figures and entertainers, that's who they're going to emulate. And that's who they're going to emulate. And that's who they're going to aspire to be. I may dare to speak and say, that's who they're going to actually, hey, such and such, that's my idol. And that's who they're going to idolize growing up. Right. But we don't, we don't, the only time doing, we show any type, rather, society shows any type of Black heroes, you'll show Martin Luther King, marching and getting a water hose sicked on him and, being very passive. Yeah. And that's exactly how they want your brain to stay. Very passive. Don't fight back. Just take what we give you, but don't fight back. Right. In the 1920s, since you brought up land, in the 1920s during segregation, and listen, I was asked this question yesterday by a very good friend that I grow with, Sonia Hudson, and she asked me, was segregation better or integration better? And I stopped myself and laughed. Look, during the time of segregation, I'm gonna say this again. We had our own banking systems. We had our own farms. M&F Mechanics and Farmers Bank was started by four gentlemen in Durham, North Carolina. Right. That bank still exists today. It does. It was founded back in the 1920s, the late 1800s and the 1920s, especially for black farmers that couldn't really, get a leg up. And we were actually loaning our people money, okay, through our own banking system. We had our own schools, we had our own supermarkets, we had our own irrigation systems. So a lot of times when you think about this, here it is 2023, here it is the credit debit system, that comes into play where now we're indebted to them. How do Columbus come over here and steal the land from the North American Indians? And now we pay rent.
And we pay rent for it. Yes.
Right.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Frank, I don't usually pop in, but I did have a quick question for you and everything along those lines. But
hey, Mr. Lee, I know you ain't joined it because this is the first time you've ever popped up on a segment.
Like I said, and I was just going to say that I don't know if you knew this, but Carrboro, and actually I work at the HI Heritage Center, and one of the stained glass windows that is over there is actually given some money by Julian Carr. And Julian Carr was a self-avowed Klansman, but he gave money in a historical African-American community. And one of the theories is that a lot of times they liked us to have our own separate environment because that means we weren't coming over into their environment and all in that space. And you actually mentioned the Black Wall Street and all in that space. And Mr. Merrick and Mr. Moore, one of them was a barber, and he actually learned a lot of the lessons while cutting the hair of Mr. Duke. So Mr. Duke is another one of the stained glass windows as well. So if you go into the HI Heritage Center and you look at the stained glass window, you will see one that has the name of a person that literally was a person that backed the Klan. And he actually literally said that he backed the Klan in a lot of his written statements. And that is who Carrboro, which is next to Chapel Hill, is named. So it's actually named after Julian Carr.
You're absolutely correct. Let me tell you something. Mark, you're absolutely correct. And look, let me add to what you just said. The highway, the Durham Freeway, I think, what is that? The 751?
I-47.
The I-47. That was actually erected right through East Parish Street. Now I'm from Brooklyn. I learned about black. Well, first of all, let's just get this out. Durham was the first Black Wall Street in America. Okay, not Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma was actually a lot of people refer, and a lot of people look at Tulsa, Oklahoma and say that's Black Wall Street. They actually copied off of East Parish Street here in Durham. Durham was the first Black Wall Street that ever existed.
Wow, wait a minute, Frank. Teresa, if you're out there, listen to this. Can you say that again, Frank? Durham was what?
Durham actually had erected, the very first Black Wall Street. Tulsa,
Frank, I've got to ask you a question historically, and I don't mean to disagree, but I have some friends that are from, ironically, New York, and they will point to one that might have been before Durham called Seneca Falls. So there may be an argument to whether Seneca Falls might have been Durham, but Durham is definitely
right in Central Park. You nailed it. You nailed it. Right. That's right. It was actually, I think it was actually over 150 acres that was actually located and centralized. No, Mark, you're right on point. That was actually centralized in Central Park. Okay. And that was a Black community. Okay. That was in New York City. The only thing that it lacked, it didn't have the resources, as many resources as Durham, North Carolina, but they were very big on farming, and it was a Black. You're right on the money with that one. You're right on the money. Good. Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma was just a little bit more commercialized because they came a little bit later on in the late 1800s, just a little bit later on in the 1800s. But the first known Black Wall Street for commercializing, for trading produce, for having barbershops, movie theaters, was right here in Durham, North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm going to let you go back to CoCo with the other thing I was going to add to it before I bounce back. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington did mention the fact that they admired what was being developed here in Durham, and they both, who are historical figures in and of their own right, admired for different reasons, because one was more into the talented 10th and the other had a different way of methodology in terms of our development, but both of them did praise Durham for its development.
Right,
Good.
absolutely. Look, Mark is absolutely correct. And look, let me hit you with this too. Booker T. Washington was part of that, the development of Black Wall Street in Durham. He was part of that. So you have the in the 1900s, in the early 1900s, I would say maybe 1901, 1902, around there, you had the biggest surge of Black riches, known, to American history today. You had more Black millionaires during the time of segregation than you do today. That spread across America. In Detroit, you had Paradise Valley. You had the Black Bottom, which boasted, man, I didn't bring that book today, which boasted of over 200 businesses, in Detroit. And so what they do, Ms. McMillian, is very simple, When they feel that we're supporting, and we don't really need to allocate our dollars, to them, because like I said yesterday, the Black dollar recycled within the Black community back then over 375 times. That means it went from my hand to your hand to your cousin's hand,
yes,
to your uncle's hand,
yes,
300 times. We kept it in the Black community. Today, the Black dollar circulates 6 hours.
No.
That means when I go to the barbershop, it goes to my barber's hand, and he takes that money and he goes right to a fast food restaurant, which is owned by Europeans.
Wow.
It doesn't stay within our community, long anymore, because it was devised. So what a lot of times people say, well, if you build a highway, wouldn't that bring business? If you wreck the highway through. Well, look, let me say this. If you're building a highway through a community, what does that do? That cuts off all traffic.
It sure does.
Nobody can't go into the communities anymore. Everything is pretty much just marginalized out, keeping everybody out. So the government and the state, they can draw out a contract for a highway from now into 25 years. There's no rush.
Right.
There's not in no rush to build this highway. We can we can draw it out as long as we want. They can draw it out as long enough so the businesses can actually sell, and they just give up and just say, listen, we're gone. We're
gone. And that's what they want.
Highway 75 in Detroit, right through Black Bottom, right through Paradise Valley, the same exact thing. They wrecked highways through the black communities back then just so they can go out of business.
And so what can we do, as business owners and, our community, to try to intervene, to try to stop some of that from happening? For one, I know we need to support our Black businesses. We need to do other things, but what are some of the advice that you can give some of the viewers out there that we can kind of put that down to a minimum? I know we probably can't change it. It doesn't happen overnight, but what are some of the things that we can start working on?
We have to get back to a trust for one another. Again, we don't trust each other. We trust the same people that has put in amendments and legislatures and governmental amendments, that's against us. Yeah. We trust those people we trust those people more than we trust one another. So the trust has to come back. The trust has to come back. So if you have a community, that you have, a young man over here, he's dealing in illegal narcotics. You have another woman over here, she's void of a man in the house. And then you have another one over here, that's working nine. We have to come back and we have to trust one another. We've been divided for too long. And in division, it's no unity. If I hit you with an open palm, you're not going to feel it as much. But if I hit you with this fist, oh, you're going to feel it. It has a little bit more impact. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm not abuse.
Right.
That's just a bit. Maybe that was the wrong.
That was good.
Maybe that was the wrong analogy. Okay, but
that was good. That was good.
Right. So if we're together, it's a stronger impact. So if you got one over here, you have one over here. I got mine. You get yours. You got another one over here. I'm making my own money. You got another one over here. I don't. It's just we'll never come together. We'll never.
Yes.
Ever come together as a people. Okay.
Oh, I love it, man. Natasha Finkley, Brooklyn in the house in the house again. Thomas Willis, thank you so much for watching. Teresa Crudup, I hope that you're listening to this information. She's a lady that works in the Franklin County area, but she works with the youth and the education system and things like that. So I know that she's down there jotting down some notes. I know that she is. So this is good, Frank. We got a few more minutes, but I want to jump into something really quick that you received an award for the Nat Turner Award, and I think you talked something about the CDC and the FDA, what they did not tell us. Can you talk a little bit about that, or you're not allowed to?
No, hell, how much time you got? Listen, man, where do you want me to start? Okay, in that particular book, the book was actually allocated to the foods that we eat every day. That we go to the supermarkets and we see, and the engineers and the people that market supermarkets, they're geniuses. They got everything color coded. They got everything on the shelves, nice and neat. You go in, you got kids. I don't want that cereal. I want that one right there. They're absolutely geniuses. There are certain ingredients, just to keep it in short, there are a lot of ingredients. I'll start with an easy one. Red dye, yellow dye, 50, especially that red dye and that yellow dye 50. Those are killers. And they dye your foods with these just so they can seem attractive. They really have no source of importance.
Which foods? Just name a few.
Right, just to look attractive. That's about it. Like, let me give you an example, which I know every Black and Hispanic person can actually relate to. I'm gonna give you one. Red velvet cake. Red velvet cake.
I just passed out.
Yeah, you just had some this afternoon. That's the reason why you passed out. You just had a big old chunk of it, but you just had a big old slice of it.
Oh my God!
So red velvet cake is just really, when you think about it, why are you really adding red dye to it just for the color, just so it can be attractive, just so it can be different? So really, it tastes actually the same. The ingredients are the same, but the red color, like Kool-Aid. That stuff actually poisons your kidneys, and it really wreaks havoc, on your liver. So you ask yourself now, why would the CDC, which produces these chemicals, Midol, you have acetaminophen that's in certain medications, like Midol or Tylenol. Acetaminophen is supposed to actually reduce, and supposed to thin the blood a little bit, but at the same time too, you're getting addicted. And if you, if you induce, and if you take enough, it will wreak havoc. And it's been known, for cancer, for causing cancer as well too. So when you look at the food ingredients, that you actually take the time, they put them up under 15-letter scientific names because they know Negroes not going to go back.
We're not going to read it. We're just going to buy it.
Yeah. You see something that say diglycerates. You're not going to take the time. You're not going to take the time. You're not going to take the time to actually go back, and you're not going to actually, go back and say, what the hell is diglycerates? You need to do it because that's what you're ingesting and putting inside your body. Yeah. And let me tell you something, CoCo, when you find out, the side effects of a lot of these chemicals, and you got to ask yourself also, why does the CDC and why does the CDC produce these food chemicals that are going in our foods, and why does the FDA approves it? Here's your answer right here. They work together. You got the you got the CDC, which approves the chemical vaccines. They approve a chemical, foods, that go. You got the FDA, which the CDC, it distributes it to the FDA. It goes into your food, and you're right back, it's a cycle, You get sick, the CDC say, welcome back. Take this shot right here,
Yes.
Shot right here, we got you. And let me tell you something. Most of the medicines, if not all of the medicines that are produced, okay, by the TSP. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct, Brother Mahar. That's right. And most of the foods that are produced, okay, today are shot with some kind of chemical, okay, to actually not only cause cancer, because let me tell you something. Cancer is a big business.
It is.
Cancer is big business. Okay. When was the last time you seen cancer get cured by someone walking?
Okay.
How can walking cure cancer? Okay. And you have a lot of people. Okay. That's another one. You know, a lot of people, oh, we're going to walk for cancer. And let me say this too, right? And it's a cycle. It's a cycle. You get hooked on the medications. Oh, I got a headache. Let me go to the store and get some Tylenol. You get some Tylenol, you get hooked on medication. Depression is big business.
Yes.
Okay, the kids go to school, nothing wrong with them. Okay, they're what? They're diagnosed ADHD.
You're right.
Okay, here's some medication for them. When actually the kids don't really need any kind. They just need a good talking to and a good counseling. Sit down and talk to your kids. They really don't need any medication. Okay, what they need is for parents to pay more attention to them. Okay, but you have the counselors and the doctors. Depression is big business amongst the Black community as well too. Depression is big. Take these pills, you won't be depressed anymore. Take this, take the Adderall, you won't be depressed anymore. Next thing you know, you're hooked on Adderall. They got you. $1 billion business, and it all stems from the CDC. FDA approves it because look, you gotta ask yourself. You gotta ask yourself, why would they approve cigarettes? And it says right on the pack, birth defects and cancer. So why does the tobacco
kill you? And they still that cycle, money, cancer cycle, and also I'm not gonna go. It's population control as well too. It's population control as well too. You know, to actually to get a grip and to actually hold the population at a certain degree and a certain amount of people. That's population control because they feel that if they have over a certain amount of people on the earth, all of the resources is gonna not be anymore. But let me tell you like this: the Heavenly Father, okay, the Most High, the earth is on automatic. The earth is on automatic. That's the reason why we have seasons. Okay, that's the reason why we have seasons. Birds get fed. Okay, that's the reason. The earth is on automatic already. Natural herbs cure any kind of ailment in your body. That's right. That's right. That's so true. That's so true.
Right. Let me hit you with this too. Our bodies are 78% made out of water. We have magnesium in our body. Okay, we have sulfur and we have iron in our body.
Yes.
Everything that the Heavenly Father created on this earth has those elements. Okay, of those elements. Okay, they even show that to you on the periodic table. They have those elements. Okay, whether it's fruit, whether it's the food that comes from the earth. Okay. Those things have to go back into your body to replenish, okay, those elements, the iron, the water, the phosphate. That's the reason why watermelons, every fruit that's grown has what? Water. Because your body is made of water. It has to replenish the water that's naturally in your body, not Gatorade. Gatorade has BVD, okay, in it. This drug in it called BVD. It rots your teeth out. It wreaks havoc on your liver. And when you drink Gatorade, you're more thirsty. You drink 2 of them, you're still thirsty.
You're still thirsty, right? Sodas.
CoCo, just to let you know, you can go a little bit longer if you want, because I was enjoying the conversation. So if you want to go a little bit longer, knock yourselves out. I was going to tease Frank because as I put in the chats and everything, the exercise business is also part of that as well, because a lot of those gym memberships and a lot of those things that we spend a lot of money on, we probably could just do it with our regular exercise versus spending all of those expensive gym memberships and expensive gym equipment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're stopping. Look, exercising and physical exercise is the best medication for your body. When you go in your backyard, and you have the natural earth, because it tells you in the Bible we're made from the earth. Right. So if we're made from the earth and the soil and the elements of the earth, we should put those earthly things where back into our
your
body.
body.
Right. You don't go to a supermarket and buy something, and for your kids, and it has sugar in it, and it just, just reeks. Your body don't recognize that. That's the reason why everyone is so sick. Oh my goodness, I'm so sick, because your body can't recognize it, and it doesn't it's not conducive, and that's the reason why you also have bad bowel movements as well too. But the FDA approves it, CoCo. They approve these things. That's bad for you. You got to watch out. They approve these things.
Wow. Oh my God. I'm just sitting here thinking about everything that I ate today with any kind of dye or anything, words that I can't even spell or pronounce that I put into my body.
Go to the store. Go to the store next time you in Food Line, because I know you shop at Food Line. Food Line or Harris Teeter. Next time you in Harris Teeter.
Why you have to say Food Line Harris Teeter?
Food Line, yeah. You feel like you shop at Harris Teeter though. You little bougie. You just go to they're on Whole Foods. You like a Whole Foods, Publix. Yeah. Go and pick up a bag of lemons or some lime, or some garlic. Lemon is known to destroy cancer in your body. Lemon is known to destroy cancer in your body. Let's just say, for instance, you're eating a substance that was actually, has a carcinogen, what they call, which is a cancer-causing agent in your body. And a lot of times they say, well, we have to put certain things on the food to kill the germs, and we have to do that, kill the germs. So let's just say, for instance, that you have, like, let's just say stage negative 0.10, you have something in your body that can trigger cancer. Go incorporate lemon into your diet every day. If you got to squeeze a half a lemon into some water, just drink that straight, because it is known cancer can't survive, when your body is alkaline. And lemon is probably one of the best things to alkaline your body. Lemon, or you're going to drink that straight up raw vinegar. That's going to alkaline your body as well too, and that's excellent. Garlic is probably one of the best herbs, that you can eat. It kills everything. Open up the blood arteries, blood cells. It gets your blood pumping a little bit more, because it cleans all the plaque, out of your arteries, and it gets your blood going. Garlic is excellent. Is excellent for that. But our taste palates have become compromised, where we think that the things that everything's supposed to be sweet, everything's supposed to taste like a Snicker bar to us. Everything, if it ain't sweet, we don't want it.
Right.
Yeah, like in House Party, the guy was pouring all the sugar inside the Kool-Aid. It looked like syrup. So that's But the best thing, true. The best thing, ginger, Kess, that's excellent. If you take that in a combination with garlic, oh my goodness, that's like taking a antibiotic shot, a natural antibiotic shot.
The ginger
plus garlic. Put those two together, and it's natural. It's a natural herb. Your body recognizes that because they have so many, antioxidants in it that your body's made of. You're not supposed to put. That's going against the physical, natural grain of your body. That's like putting taking a fish out of water and putting them inside a bucket of ammonia.
Right.
It's the same thing. Your body doesn't recognize certain things because your body is made up of water, magnesium, sulfur, iodine, That's what your body's made up of. Those 4 elements, those are the 4 main elements that your body is made of. And everything, again, remember this, you don't remember nothing else, CoCo. If you don't remember nothing else, give me 1 second.
Again, we're waiting on Frank to come back to give us some information. But what he has given us thus far has been amazing. He's back. What you got to say on that, Frank? What you got?
Where was I at the garlic?
Yep. You said you want to share. You say you want to share. You say, if I don't remember one thing, remember this.
Remember that your body needs those elements to be inside your body because your body recognizes that. So when you put magnesium, water, and remember this, every fruit, whether it's apples,
He said, whether it's apples. Happy birthday, Miss Gloria. Her birthday is tomorrow. I'll just give a shout out to her. Okay, Frank, whether it's apples.
Yeah, whether it's apples, and I do apologize.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Whether it's apples, watermelon, anything that comes from the earth, it has water to replenish the natural ingredients and the natural elements in your body. Your body doesn't recognize the things that are man-made, only made by the Heavenly Father.
Wow.
He made us, not man.
That's right.
So,
that's right. So guys, put that in chat. Say it one more time. Frank.
He made us, not man. So wouldn't he know what goes into what he made?
Yeah. Wow. Apples. Oh, wow. This is so good. And I know I'm going to let you go. I know we are certainly over time. I just want to ask you one more question. That something kind of stood out to me when we talk about people that we didn't even know, that like Mac musicians and history about these people, unmerited things. Can you talk just a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I had a conversation with someone the other day. It was this guy that was landscaping. He was landscaping, and he had like a really nice lawnmower. And I had told him, I said, a black man by the name of John Burr invented the lawnmower. And he looked at me like I had 3 heads on my shoulder. and so I had told him, I said, yeah, look it up. I said, John Burr invented the lawnmower. So he looked it up, and and he looked at it, he said, my goodness. You have, I see you writing it down.
Yeah, you said
John Burr invented the lawnmower. Robert Fleming, another black man, that invented the guitar, not the Fleming Company. And I'm gonna show you some things outside of this book right here, real quick, since I have your attention. This is some art, that they don't show you. As a matter of fact, they won't show you. Like this is a picture. Let me find a real good one. This is a picture that's over in Rome of Matthew. Matthew, that's in the Bible, and Bartholomew. This is a picture that's over in Rome.
Okay.
Let me get it.
There we go. Okay. All right.
Matthew is on the right.
Uh-huh.
All right. Now, what does that look like to you? And like a brother? Look at that nose and look at them lips.
Yeah, it does. I was looking at the nose.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me show you something else.
Wow.
This is a picture. This is an icon of another icon of Matthew. And this is an icon of actually King David that's over in Russia. And if you saw this picture, in color, the paint tone is actually dark. It's a dark brown. And just to back that up, and all of this is in my book, just to back that up, here's another picture of King David over in Rome as well, too, playing instruments. Because King David actually used to love playing instruments.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Look at that. Look at that. Even the way he holding it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And over here in the United States, they're not going to show you stuff like this. They're not going to show you stuff like this because, like I said from the very beginning, the best way to brainwash it's a lot of people. It's a lot of them. If you a lot of people, that rips away their self-esteem. Shakespeare was a black man. Casanova was a black man.
Yeah.
You don't believe me? Watch this. One more. Just one more. Watch this. The first King Charles of France was black.
Wait, what?
That is the first King Charles of France.
Oh my God.
He was a black man. Charlemagne. Okay. Let me read you something real quick.
Okay.
This is a book that was written called An African Complexion, Jacques Casanova. Casanova, it says world's greatest lover. He described in his bio members of Casanova. It says he was of dark complexion and had African features. This is in a book right here called The Life and Times of Casanova. At the same time, let me show you something else.
Come on, he bringing it. He bringing it.
King James, the one that translated the Bible.
Yeah.
From Hebrew to Greek, from Greek into English. King James the First. He looked like Mayor Dinkins.
He does. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Charlotte Sophia. She was the first black queen, okay, of England. And he's absolutely correct. She was the first black queen of England. That's who Charlotte, North Carolina, was named after. Charlotte Sophia. Charlotte, North Carolina, is actually named after a black queen, and a lot of people don't know it. A lot of people don't know it. Here's a picture. As a matter of fact, the person that just chimed in, he's absolutely right. I'm trying to find a really good one. He said that Christ.
Man, this is good right here. I didn't know that about Charlotte though.
Oh yeah, Charlotte was named after a black queen. Okay, Charlotte was named after a black queen.
Okay.
Queen of Charlotte.
Queen of Charlotte. You need to turn these books into movies, Frank. That's what I see. We got to see the visual of this.
This is a picture of Aaron and Moses. Okay, if you see the picture in color, okay, it's dark. They have dark skin. Moses is on the left, Aaron is on the right.
Yeah. Wow.
Also, Christ, black man. Okay, when you go over there to Russia, inside their cathedrals, nothing but black people over there. This is another picture of King David. This is on a plate. King David. And you can, let me try to get a little closer.
Yeah.
Look at the lips.
Yes. Wow. And that's why someone just said in the chat, Woman King was real.
Oh yeah. Solomon, Matthew, David. So you got to ask yourself, why do they want to eradicate Latino, okay, and Black history? When you know that you can do better, you have that. There she goes. Charlotte is the Queen City now, right?
Yeah.
Because it was named after Queen Charlotte, Sophia Charlotte. Let me see if I got a picture of her real quick. Queen Sophia Charlotte.
Wow, this is amazing.
This is gonna be a long show, I see.
But it's good because we're learning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This was the first princess, actually, Elizabeth, right here.
Wow.
The first princess, Elizabeth. On this page, on the other side, it says Elizabeth the First.
Yeah.
Prince Elizabeth the First. And a lot of people always think her face is a little whitewashed.
Yeah,
They do chemicals on her face, but you can clearly tell that is a black woman because this is the same book that King James is in. Shakespeare's in his book as well too. And what they did, they bleached and they took bleach and they took chemicals and whitewashed the images and took all the, before the 1400s, which was the Renaissance period, when they was actually Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci was paid a commission to change all the dark art to white art. Right.
Man, we had a history class today. Nancy Petaway, thank you. Look at Nancy saying, what? Nancy said, what? Nancy, if you just jumping on, you're going to have to go back and listen to some of the information Frank gave us today. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. And listen, Frank, they still talking about this movie. They saying that you need to put all of this in a movie, man.
Let me give you one more for the road. This book right here is called The Life and Times of William Shakespeare. This is one of my favorite books right here. This is one of my favorite books. One of his best friends here, his name was John Combe. His name was John Combe. And this is his best friend, John Combe. Who that look like?
Look at that nose.
Right. Look at the nose. Look at the hair. Look at the lips. That was his best friend. Now I'm gonna show you a picture, okay, of William Shakespeare, and I'm gonna explain this picture to you. This is a picture right here of William Shakespeare.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Now you can look around the forehead. You can look around the forehead. You can look around the eyes. You can look around the facial features where still you can see some darkness in him.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
The forehead looks a little more lighter because of the bleaching. You can look around his ears. You can look around his eyes, and you can look at his curly hair as well too. And you know that's a black man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Right. And he got an earring in his ear. So that's a culture. That's a culture of black people.
He said, and he got an earring in his ear.
In Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet, Romeo depicts Juliet as being dark as the night. Macbeth, they talk about how the Moors. Okay, Othello was another play that Shakespeare wrote. Okay, matter of fact, it's a picture of the Moors in here as well too. Othello.
Wow.
35.
And this is all in your book, right,
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Guys, make sure you're taking down his information at the bottom of the screen. We have to
During the Elizabethan period.
Yes, so we got to take our credit back, Frank.
Okay. During the Elizabethan period, Shakespeare made a play, okay, called Othello. Okay, and he depicted the Moors as being dark people.
Oh my gosh. I agree. Listen, Kat, when she says we have to take our credit back, parents, get these books. Make sure y'all get these books from Frank to teach our kids. Get these books in our homes. That is such a true statement.
Absolutely.
You have to get them in our home. Hey, Robin, interesting, right, Robin? Oh, say, can you see? Wow.
To dumb people down, you have to lie to them. You got to present yourself as the greatest people, okay, on the planet Earth. You know, to make you feel insecure and make you feel subservient, okay, and to bolster your self-esteem down. You know, if we're taught that we're nothing, you know, the movie Rocky and Rocky beating up Big Apollo, you know damn well Apollo was hitting that man with so many lefts. That man's supposed to have been up out of here a long time ago. But then when they start playing that music, he comes back and there you go. There you go. Knocks Apollo Creed out. That's you know.
Yeah. Oh my God. Frank, we're gonna have to bring you on for another part too. This have been amazing.
Thank you.
Some of the history that we learned today, even not only with black, even we didn't even get into the Latino, we didn't even get into that much about some of the things. Wow, we got so much to talk about.
Right. Monoxide, remember this right here, monoxide ammonium. This was for everybody in New York City. Monoxide ammonium. When you mix those two chemicals together and when you spray them in the air, it makes a mist of orange. What did y'all just go through last week? When you mix ammonium and monoxide together, ammonium monoxide together, and when you spray it, it makes an orange mist. And let me say this: the fires in Canada, smoke screen for chemtrails.
Oh, I'm mouth wide open. Wait a minute. Back up. Say it again. Go back, Frank. Say it again now.
Smoke screen for chemtrails to be sprayed. Once again, you got the CDC that's in charge of that. All of a sudden, the fires are just gone.
It's gone.
No talk about them. It made headline news for 3 days straight. All of a sudden, 9 million acres of land. 9 million acres of land. All of a sudden, just put out just that quick. Where did monkeypox go? Monkeypox, all of a sudden, it was strong for 3, 4, what, about a week? Monkeypox, oh my God. I don't even talk about monkeypox anymore. Where did the fire go? It doesn't even get coverage anymore. Where did the fire? Last week, everybody, oh my goodness, look at New York City. It's orange. It's crazy. I can't, oh my goodness. All of a sudden, nope, it hasn't got coverage anymore. Nothing. Okay. Ammonium monoxide. You mix those two chemicals together, you spray them like a mist, Get an orange mist. And let me tell you something.
What is it for? Why are they doing that?
It wreaks havoc on your lungs and on your immune system.
So people are going to start getting sick again.
Huh?
People are going to start getting sick again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's big business. It's big business. Plus, America believes in sacrifice. That's another story. That's another topic for another day. They believe in sacrifice, human sacrifice, and that's another topic for another day.
For the greater good. Uh-huh.
Right, for the greater good. Right. Absolutely. Exactly. So you mix those two, you mix those two together, and that's what you have, an orange mist, and it wreaks havoc on your lungs and on your immune system. You know, COVID-19 part 2, it may be coming this fall because everybody knows that the sun, you know, it kills, you know, most of the germs in your body. But in the winter, it stores.
Right.
You know, if you want to store food and you want to save food, it stores it. You know, in the wintertime, it stores it. Sunlight, you know, helps. You know, it's good for your immune system. That's the reason why they told you to stay indoors, because no sunlight will shine on you, okay, to get you better. They told you to stay inside. You fell for that too. You keep a plant indoors, okay, without no sunshine.
Right.
What's going to happen to that plant?
Right. It's going down.
Our hair is like plants. We need the sun for it to grow. We cover it up. That's it. Stay inside. Everybody stay inside. Everybody stay inside. That's so you can get sicker. Everybody's weak. You need that sun. Vitamin D was a COVID killer. Vitamin D was a COVID killer, and they won't come out and they won't tell you that.
They won't tell you that. Yeah.
Come on, get some of that good old vitamin D. Let that sun hit it.
Yeah. Yeah. Kill it. I don't even know what to say, Frank. What I want you to let me see. Nancy said I fell for that mess. I didn't fall for that mess. I was outside. Yolanda, hey, how you doing? Oh, Texas is in the house. Oh my God. This replay is going to be amazing. This has been so good. So good. Frank, we got to bring you back on for part 2. It's so much stuff, so much more that we can talk about, that you can educate us. And, you know, he educate us, we educate someone else, because this is things that we need to know, especially about our bodies, about our children, what's coming up in the future. What do you predict that's going to take place in the next couple of years with the country?
Oh man, if this country is spiraling in the way that it's going, which we know it's going to go, okay, which is definitely spiraling in the wrong direction, because evil. I mean, look, a lot of people are scared to say that word because evil plays a major role in the way that society clicks. Everybody is pretty much predicated towards evil, the things that are evil in the society. Sin sells. So if this place keeps it up, if this place keeps it up, it's gonna be apocalypse part 2.
Boy, it's praying time. Oh my God.
It's gonna be apocalypse, because listen, we have no more. Listen, the natural resources, you know, that we don't have anymore. Land is getting into something else. I should have brought that out earlier. We don't really have any more natural resources. You know, we got to tap it. You know, who told them to dig, 200 miles into the earth and take out the natural oil in the earth? And
right,
now you're gonna complain it's no more oil anymore. That's because you didn't suck the natural oil. Right. You're making money out of it. You're taking all the animals out of the sea that's supposed to serve a purpose, and now you're complaining about there's no animals in the sea. You're shooting down all the animals, that are in the forest that belong in the forest. Now you're talking about they're extinct. Stop shooting them.
Oh my God. Let me tell y'all something. It's praying time, because I believe it. I believe it, Frank. If we don't get it together now, it can really turn even worse than what we have even imagined. They think COVID was bad, what could happen. So listen, Frank, man, thank you so much. Can you tell the viewers tonight how they can reach you? We have the information running at the bottom of the screen, but where they can buy the books so we can get these books in our homes for our children. Tell us how we can reach you.
Hey, Miss McMillian, all praises to the Most High, and thank you. And listen, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on the show. It takes a special person to have me on that show. I'm gonna tell you, it takes a special person to have me on that show. And I thank you so much. And keep doing what you're doing. You are phenomenal in what you're doing. You're gonna be blessed as well too. You're gonna be blessed as well too. You know, and hey, listen, I'm enamored by what you do, and thank you so much. You can buy my books, Frank Zaaqan Jordan, on Amazon.com. And you can reach me at my email, ZAAQAN1212 at yahoo.com. And thank you so much for having me, Miss McMillian. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. We're gonna listen, wait for my phone call, my text, or whatever, because we're gonna have you back. The chat is going crazy here with the comments and everything.
He's right.
Yeah,
hey,
he's right.
The brother Mahar is right. You know, everything. You know,
get back to your book. Oh, that'll preach right there. Get back to your book. Come on. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Leviticus, the 11th chapter of the Bible tells you what to eat and what not to eat. Thank you, Brother Mahar.
Y'all got that? Somebody put that in the chat. Leviticus
11th chapter.
11th chapter will tell you what and what not to eat. Go buy it. He said 10 years. You stop. He said you put down that soda, you added 10 more years to your life. I love that because it's so true.
Oh yeah.
But again, Frank, thank you so much for your time. Expect a phone call from me. We're gonna have you back for this part 2. And everybody that's listening, I want you to share this broadcast. The people that was making the comments, the likes, the whatever, share this broadcast on your page with your friends. Let's get this information out here. Let's support Frank Jordan and what he's doing for not only for the community, for the people. Absolutely. You know, the greater good for us. It's only, you know, listen, each one teach one. And it's only for our best. So again, thank you so much, Frank. God bless you. We love you here. And just, we can't wait to have you back. It's going to be very soon. Trust me on that.